Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Experiencing GhiaLogic. Hello, my beautiful, my wonderful, and my loyal listeners. Welcome to another episode of Experiencing GhiaLogic. I'm your lovely host, GhiaLogic, and this is episode 253. Today, I want to ask the question, is this the worst hurricane season ever? Because that's what it's giving. Yeah, we're going to talk about this storm season. I'm going to try and compare it a little bit to other hurricane seasons in the past. Today's Friday, October 11th. Hurricane Milton hit Wednesday night, so it hit October 9th. There were numerous tornadoes that were occurring as well, even before the hurricane made landfall. So because of those tornadoes that hit Florida and the fact that the storm weakened significantly before it made landfall, then you have Hurricane Helene that hit 2 to 3 weeks prior to Hurricane Milton. These are all reasons why I think that this has been the worst hurricane season ever. Before it was really even boom, boom, boom hurricane, it's humongous tornadoes I'm seeing on social media. People are pulling over on the freeway because there's a humongous tornado right in front of them. That's insane. I've never heard of that. I've never heard of tornadoes happening prior to the hurricane hitting. That's insane. Like, where can you really go? Let's say I'm on the road just trying to still get out. I might be last minute. Maybe I had a dog to pack up, an elderly family member. We're finally trying to get on the road a few hours before, anything, just trying to go north. Or maybe you're trying to go south, whichever one's safer. And there's tornadoes on the road as I'm trying to evacuate. That is stressful. Of course, it's scary and an inconvenience, but that's crazy. Then before Hurricane Milton made landfall, the meteorologists were really saying that the strength and the BPMs or BRMs, whatever, it had gotten up to technically a category 6, but the measuring of a hurricane only goes to 5. But the winds were so strong when it was over the ocean, when it was over the Gulf of Mexico, it was off the chart. It was off the measuring scale. It increased so quickly once it left the coast of Mexico. They were scared. The meteorologists were scared. There was a meteorologist crying, talking about how nervous he was for this storm to make landfall because of how dangerous and how catastrophic it was going to be. I've never seen that in my 27 years of living, a meteorologist cry on national television about a storm making landfall. Oh, also, it's not August, it's not September, it's October. Hurricane season in the Western Hemisphere runs from June to the end of November. But the busiest parts of the season are usually August and September. So, for this storm to be hitting on October 9th, we've had an extremely active hurricane season. And the gag is, people want to sit here and deflect from the fact global warming is real. People in 2024 still want to denounce global warming. Yeah. Just lie to the grave, right? Just run with it. Y'all been lying for the last 24 years. Go ahead, right? Just run with it to the grave. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm pretty sure that the extent of these storms lately are because of global warming. The back to back to back of these storms are because of global warming. I don't see any way around it. There were extreme storms back in the day, but it was more sporadic, like maybe every 20 or 30 years. I mean, now, really, since Katrina, you got Irma, all these, bro, it's been at least 10 to 12 extreme hurricanes in the last 20 years. That's almost every single year. It's a catastrophic, terrible storm. In my opinion, Hurricane Beryl was catastrophic, and that was a category 1 that hit in July 8th. July 8th. Hurricane Harvey in 2017 hit in like late August. I think Hurricane Harvey hit like the 22nd or 23rd of August. But Hurricane Milton pulled up in October. Hurricane Helene pulled up late September, wreaked havoc through Tennessee, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia. There was flooding in Atlanta, flooding in Florida. This is insane. This hurricane moved up and kept the strength. And that's kind of how Hurricane Harvey was, in my opinion, because I was here in Houston for Hurricane Harvey, and Hurricane Harvey was from Saturday night, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It was clear skies, I think. Thursday, I got in my car and drove to Richmond, Texas. So that was like a 5-day, 6-day storm. And that to me is how Helene seemed to be like a week long. Just keeping that strength. That is not normal. This is why I will continue to argue that going through a hurricane is more stressful, more dangerous, more catastrophic than experiencing an earthquake. I understand that earthquakes will continue in strength and will become more frequent as well due to fracking, due to the expanding of Earth's crust, due to the fault line that runs in California. I can't think of the name. I understand that. In my opinion, a hurricane is more widespread. It's more devastating than an earthquake. Period, point blank. This is absolutely ridiculous. And this year, off the top of my brain, I can think of 3 hurricanes that were terrible. The 2024 season has been pretty active, and it's been the closest, most active season to 2020, which is the most active season on record. That season, that hurricane season of 2020, had 30 named storms. As of October 1st, with 2 months left in the season, right? Because the season ends November 30th. There have been 8 named storms, including 5 tropical storms and 6 hurricanes, which 2 were major hurricanes. So that was October 1st. The hurricane hit October 9th. So now there's been 7 hurricanes, and of which 3 were major hurricanes. Hurricane Milton at one point was almost a category 6. That's how strong it was. That's how powerful it was. But that's when it was over the Gulf of Mexico. Hurricane Milton hit Florida Wednesday night as millions were told to flee. They had different evacuation zones. I think zone A was like mandatory evacuation. You had to get out, which I've never been in a mandatory evacuation zone, but I guess that means if you call 911, we won't be here because we're evacuating. I think that that's what that means. Right? Like, you got to get out. We're like, no one's here. No one's going to be here. So you're on your own. That's how I take it. This was the strongest storm in the Gulf of Mexico since 2005. What else was in 2005? Hurricane Katrina. All right. So it was expected to make landfall in the Tampa Bay area. It did. I think the center of the storm hit in Sarasota, Florida. So experts were warning that the storm surge could reach 15 feet. Nearly 6 million Floridians across 11 counties in coastal and low-lying areas were under mandatory or voluntary evacuation orders. More than 1,500 flights have been canceled as of Tuesday, October 8th. That was another thing too. They were talking about the price gouging. Some of the airlines were charging $2,000 for people to just leave the Tampa airport. But y'all better get smart. Y'all better go to Fort Lauderdale and Miami and leave out of there. You know, the game is the game. Our country is very, very treacherous. Our country is very, very unfair. Our country is very capitalistic. All about making a dollar. All about the businesses, not for the people at all. I'm not going through another hurricane. Do you hear me? I am not going through another hurricane by any means. Who? Who's going to bunker down? Not me. Not me. So that's crazy. 1,500 flights. 1,500. That's a lot of flights. Hurricane Milton made landfall as a Category 3 storm. Praise God. Because it was looking very, very spooky, very treacherous, very on brand for October. It was looking very, very scary. And it still was bad, but I don't think it was nearly as bad as it could have been if it was a Category 5, which it was on track to be. 3 million people are currently without power as of today. The roof of the Tropicana field where the Tampa Bay Rays, the MLB team, plays, yeah, that was ripped off by severe winds. And fun fact, if you didn't know, they were going to have the emergency responders staying in there, but good thing they didn't. Good thing they didn't. Yeah, people would have definitely been hurt. And I don't know if they're in the playoffs or not, Tampa Bay Rays. They can't play there. Sorry to that team. Because I don't know if y'all see them pictures, but Hurricane Beryl, Hurricane Helene, Hurricane Milton. When I go through the alphabet, I think that's halfway through the alphabet, the letter M. That is the 13th named storm. That's insane. Helene was insane. Helene was just insane because why are people in the mountains getting flooding? Why are they getting flooded out? So again, this is the strongest storm that has come from the Gulf of Mexico since 2005. This year, there has been over $50 billion in damages from hurricanes and tropical storms. 3 million people are currently without power. I do think that number is bigger than the amount we experienced in Houston during Hurricane Beryl. And I pray that their weather is a little bit cooler than what it was here in Houston during Hurricane Beryl, because literally we got the hurricane. It came through at night, and the next day the high was like 90 degrees. No power, 90 degrees. We were going insane. We were all cranky, irritable, agitated. Ask anyone in the city during that time. This hurricane season, you all, has been completely devastating. It has never been a break. No one across this country has caught a break. And I think that in addition to this being the worst hurricane season in my opinion, because technically the worst was 2020 according to all my research. It was the most active, had the most storms. But in addition to that, Los Angeles was at 105, 110 degrees for numerous days this summer. So I want to hone in on the fact that global warming is real. We're getting hurricanes left and right. They're getting hurricanes in these rural areas in the mountains in North Carolina. That's how deeply inwards this storm is going, right? And in Los Angeles, it's turning into a desert. The ocean's right there. And there's no reason on this earth why Los Angeles should be at 105 degrees. And this is only going to continue to increase. This is the beginning of the end. This is the beginning of the end, y'all, because this is just not, it's not how it's supposed to be. Los Angeles has been in a drought for the last 10 to 15 years. So it's been going towards this way. You know, this is not, oh my God, you know, this is global warming. People in Los Angeles have been taking out their grass and replacing it for pebbles and rocks and stones because it's been so dry. Like, it really doesn't rain in LA. But I remember in 2022, 2023, flooding. Flooded really, really bad 2023. I'm sure it did this year. I'm trying to pull this all together to make a picture for you all. This is all related. This is all due to global warming. We're going to have continued extremities of weather and natural disasters because I'm doing my little Donald Trump right here with the hand movements. But for real, I want you to see the vastness, the importance of what I'm saying. Like, all of it's connected. It's mad hot in LA. And it's not even getting that cold in New York. People have been saying that New York has not even been getting that cold during the winter time. I don't know if it's too late for a reversal, because I don't even think that people will adopt it because people still think global warming is false. So that kind of sets us back with just ideologies right there. If this country would just wake up and be on some honest mentality, propaganda, maybe, because then it wouldn't even be propaganda. It's like, if our country could just be honest with its constituents and with its citizens, we would be in a much better place. I think that's why we're not #1 in the world, because we're not honest with ourselves. I think that Japan and China, those countries are being honest with their citizens. They're letting their citizens know how competitive it is in the world, what you have to do to be on top,